why don't we back out a little bit, gentlemen, and let's talk about why do both of you feel we have such a massive gap in connectivity in America? I mean, I think statistically we are ranked 20th in the world as far as internet connectivity, and to me that's just very baffling. So why are we here? Why are we in this position today? I'm sorry about that. Why don't we start with Kelly, then we'll go to Claude. Sorry, guys.
Okay. I'll take a stab at it. Yeah, I mean, I think, from an ROI perspective, it was difficult for operators to justify going after these smaller patches of customers. I mean, regardless of whether you're plowing fiber or hanging an AP to connect customers, you're kind of looking for where you can get the best density of customers, right? And so it left these gaps and these holes where it was difficult for an operator to justify, going and connecting and just a handful of customers, right? The ROI just didn't make economic sense. And so, and that's where the CAF and the RDOF and the CARES Act funds really kind of make sense for the operator to go get these customers connected.
Absolutely. Claude, same question for you, sir. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think Kelly's exactly right. A lot of it comes down to population density and interest in the service. So I think it's particularly interesting to see all of the small innovators that are members of WISPA and the places that they've been able to go where larger legacy providers haven't, and I think that underscores that this is an eminently solvable problem, but one that with just a little bit of a nudge in the right direction from the spectrum side, from the subsidy side, we could really see a huge chunk of this problem tackled if we at a macro policy level took the right approach. I mean, look, just a few years ago, WISPs weren't even eligible for any sort of federal funding, and with the CAF program, that really took things to the next level within the WISP industry, and we're seeing massive changes from there, and now we're seeing even more federal funding come in, and we're just trying to help our folks make sense of it.
Yeah, I think if we were from a macro level just to look at federal subsidy to date, let's take COVID out of the equation. Pre-COVID, let's pretend we're, December 2019. You've got your Connect America Fund. RDOF was coming, but those federal subsidies absolutely benefited the service provider space. I like to describe the service providers as those that reach those tentacles in those areas where a big tier 1, tier 2 provider won't go from an economic standpoint. But those subsidies were great for that service provider. We can outfit this area with this microwave broadband solution, this LTE solution, what have you. And when that subsidy is done and the network is built, it's still left those service providers this hole where those communities, those homes, those homeowners had to pay a monthly bill for internet service. And one of the most interesting things in the emergency broadband benefit, which is stemmed from a much more syllabic government program I will not mention, but that emergency broadband benefit program actually involves a reimbursement to those service providers to some of these rural areas or impoverished areas where people cannot afford internet, and now it incentivizes those service providers. So, Claude, question right over to you. I'm sorry to be very long-winded there, gentlemen, but this emergency broadband benefit that reimburses service providers. Claude, can you talk a little bit about that and what that program's all about?
Sure. So that is one of the programs that came out of one of the many pieces of COVID relief legislation that kicked about $3 billion over to the FCC to make broadband more affordable during the COVID pandemic for folks who were particularly hard hit. Now that according to the FCC's rules that were just recently adopted a couple months ago, you get a $50 a month subsidy towards your broadband bill, up to $100 for equipment, and that is available to anybody who is having trouble meeting their bills, is experiencing a loss in income, and service providers are able to offer that program to individuals, either existing or new, after going through a number of steps through the FCC, and that program just went live for the first time yesterday. There's still an opportunity to participate, but that is one of the many new ones that came online just as of recently.
Got it. And then the funding actually flows to the service provider, not the homeowner themselves. Is that accurate, Claude?
Correct. The service provider offers a discount to the homeowner, to the customer, and then gets reimbursed through the FCC.
Very good. And I think there's a differentiation too. If there's folks that are in tribal lands, the reimbursement is different than other rural areas. Is that correct?
Correct. If you're a service provider on tribal lands, tribal customers get $75 a month off.
Got it. Very cool. And now, Claude, for the listeners, and let's say we've got a service provider listening who's like, wow, I absolutely serve a impoverished area or a tribal community, and I want to get involved in this process. It launched yesterday. Has that ship sailed, or I think I heard you say there is still an opportunity to participate?
The ship has not fully left the harbor, or if I don't know how far we can take the analogy, but you can get on a tugboat and still make your way out there. There are a number of great resources, both on the FCC's website. If you just search emergency broadband benefit on the FCC's website, that'll give you a great macro level overview of the program and how to participate. WISPA also has a number of resources for our members that are more targeted, the small provider community, to really understand the steps you have to go through to be able to participate in the program. So if there is interest, absolutely look at the resources that are already out there and available.